Okay, let's start out by meeting the UW-La Crosse team. So my name is Heather Pearson, and I'm an international admissions counselor. And my role is really more of what we would call an in-house role. So I work with the processing of applications, the admission decisions, the issuing of the I-20 immigration document, credential evaluations, transfer credit evaluations. And so I'm really serving the students as they begin through the application process. I also work with our agency partnerships, and so I'm the main contact for our agency partners. We also have Kelsey Jones. Kelsey is an international admissions counselor as well, but his job is more external. And so Kelsey typically travels about 2 months out of every semester. And so he's likely to be the person to actually do an agency office visit and meet the staff and help with presentations to students and families. And then we have Miranda Panzer, who's an international student advisor. Miranda is the person who greets the students when they arrive. She coordinates their orientation session. She does immigration advising and advocacy for international students and cultural programming. So she's really the one who's with the students their whole time at the university. So I would say that we are a solid team of 3 individuals who really work hard to give the international students a great experience from beginning to end. But we're also surrounded by a lot of other individuals in our offices and on campus who also help to make their experience really exceptional for them and to offer support. So looking at where we are located in the United States, our name is actually very descriptive. We are the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. And as you look at the map here, you'll see the state of Wisconsin in the northern part of the United States. It's colored green on the map. And we are in the city of La Crosse, which is a city on the western border of La Crosse, or of Wisconsin. So while we are located in Wisconsin, you cross a bridge and you are in Minnesota. So we're truly right on the border. My guess is when you tell students our name, they're going to say, "Where is that? I've never heard of La Crosse." And so we also put some points here of reference. And so the nearest kind of larger urban cities to our city are Chicago, Madison, and Minneapolis. To also put it into perspective, even though we're not close to them, I also put the distance here to New York City and Seattle. So kind of like looking at each end of the United States. And while we're not close to bigger cities like Seattle and New York City, as you'll see on the next slide, we have really good transportation options. And so for students who just want to travel while they're here at university, they'll see a lot of those options. The city of La Crosse has about 52,000 residents. And I know for a lot of students, that's going to seem like a small town. So they might think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in a rural city if I come to La Crosse. That actually is not true. We are the largest city in our region of Wisconsin. And outside of La Crosse, kind of our surrounding communities give us an overall population of about 120,000. So we have a little bit more of a city feel. And because we are the largest city in the area, we have a lot of business and industry. And so students will feel the benefit of both, that small town feeling where it's easy to get around, you know the people around you, there's no rush hour traffic, but also the opportunities of a bigger city. So the ability to be out in nature, to go out to a nice restaurant, to have entertainment and recreation, shopping, all of those things. So I always say best of both worlds. We're easily accessible by a variety of different types of transportation. So we have a regional airport in the city, and that has daily flights to and from Chicago, Minneapolis, and Detroit. And each of those airports are international airports. And so from those airports, they can get to anywhere around the US or out of the US as well. We also have a stop for the Amtrak train, and the train goes to a lot of different places throughout the US, so they can catch the train right in La Crosse. We have city and regional buses that will take students either throughout the city of La Crosse to different destinations or throughout the Midwest to other key cities. And then within the city, we have Uber and Lyft. So most of our international students do not have their own car. They typically don't come and buy a car. But when they want to get around, they find that that isn't an issue. There's a lot of different ways where they can travel. The major industries are healthcare, education, business, manufacturing, and technology. That initially serves them as a student, right? If they need healthcare, there's major hospitals nearby. They're benefiting from the top educational system. They're utilizing the business areas for shopping, entertainment, and recreation, and just taking advantage of those opportunities. But as they get more defined in their career, those same industries will offer them opportunities to get volunteer service experience, to do an internship, possibly to acquire work through the CPT or OPT work opportunities. So that business and industry within the community will really support them as well. We are known in both Wisconsin and also in La Crosse for natural scenic beauty. In the city of La Crosse, on the western part of the state or of the city, we have the Mississippi River, which is the picture on the left. And students can go on a riverboat cruise where they get to see more of the climate and learn more about the region. On the eastern part of the city, we have Grandad Bluff, which is the picture on the right. That's a unique geological formation where from the top you have this overlook, and in front of you, you see the whole city laid out in front of you. So you can see the full university campus, the neighborhoods, the downtown area. You can see in that picture off in the distance is the Mississippi River, so you can see the full city there. Just past the Mississippi River, you can see the state of Minnesota. And if you turn your head and look south, you see the state of Iowa. So it's an amazing view. In Wisconsin, you experience all 4 seasons. And so warm, hot, and humid summers, mild fall or autumn seasons when temperatures start to lower a little bit and it prepares for winter. Cold winter seasons when there's snow and students can ski, sled, skate, snowshoe, all those fun winter activities. And then after that, the snow melts and we come into spring when temperatures start to warm up again and things start to grow. This is, I think, especially really fun for students who haven't experienced a solid 4 seasons from their home climate. Even though it's maybe not why they would choose to study in Wisconsin, it's that added benefit of just really seeing that full array of seasons. The city of La Crosse has been ranked the 19th best college town in America by the American Institute for Economic Research. And I think that's because of all of these types of supports and features I've just talked about. Within the heart of the city is the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. So just putting us into perspective, in the state of Wisconsin, there are 13 universities that have the title University of Wisconsin. So we are a public university. We are part of a state system of universities, and we are kind of connected through that relationship to other well-known universities like University of Wisconsin-Madison, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and others. So I would describe the relationship as kind of like a family relationship. Each university is its own unique independent university. So we all do our own admission, offer our own academic programs. Students are graduates of our own unique universities. However, there's also a lot of collaboration. So for example, a student at University of Wisconsin-La Crosse might be accepted for a summer research opportunity at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, or they might pursue doctoral studies at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. So there really is that connection within the state system to all of the universities. I start out with the introduction to UW-La Crosse with a really boring map. And I do that just so you can see how small the campus truly is. It's going to be easy for students to walk from their dormitory to the academic buildings and to get from end to end of campus within about 10 minutes. So as you look at this map, each building that has a number is a university building. And as you see the numbers of the buildings more on the outer part of that campus, those are the dormitories. So those are where the students will live and have more of their social life. The numbered buildings more in the center part of campus are the academic buildings, the library, the dining services, the student union, the labs, all of those features that they use typically during the day when they're in their classes. So I can describe their experience as in the morning, they're in their dormitories. They come into the heart of campus and go to their classes and do their academic activities, and then they go back to their dormitories. Then in the evening after dinner, if they want to go back and do some work in a lab or a studio, it's an easy 5-minute walk to get from their dormitory to that building. Or if they want to get together with their friends and take a walk through a park or go to a restaurant or a coffee shop or for some sort of entertainment, they can immediately be in a residential area where they can walk to those places or catch a bus to be taken there. So it's really easy to get around both the campus and the community. Our population of students is about 10,500 students total. That would give us a designation of a middle-sized campus. The breakdown of those students is about 9,500 undergraduate students pursuing their bachelor's degrees and about 1,000 students pursuing their graduate degrees. With smaller numbers like that, we are able to offer a lot of personal and individual attention. So an average class size is 28 students. That means that the professors get to know the students by name and can really develop relationships with them. It also means the students get to know their classmates, and so they're going to feel more comfortable in that class, asking a question, sharing an opinion, participating in group activities. So it really is an interactive atmosphere. We currently have about 100 international students at UW-La Crosse, and they come from about 43 countries all around the world. Over the past year, that number has fluctuated a lot due to COVID and classes going online. And so that's a smaller number. Where we typically are and where we feel kind of more robust with our international enrollment, it was when it's closer to 200 or more international students. And that was really where we were at before COVID. And so our hope is that as things start to reopen and as people are able to travel more, when I do agency training with you a year from now, I'm hoping that you're also seeing that that number of international students on campus has gone up. A few cool rankings about UW-La Crosse. We've been ranked the #4 best college value under $30,000. And that really speaks to a good quality education, but also at an affordable price. We've been ranked the #6 top public regional university in the Midwest. And we've held a ranking in the top 10 for over 20 years. And so that speaks to academic quality when compared with our peers. We've also been noted for stellar undergraduate research and creative projects. This just means that there will be opportunities for the students that you send us pursuing their bachelor's degrees to still do hands-on research with their professors, potentially be published in a professional journal, present their research at a conference, and those types of scholarly activities. We've been noted for excellence in diversity, both in the faculty and staff that we hire at the university, but also in the student body. And we've been given a good ranking for on-campus part-time jobs. That is especially important for international students because while their American friends can go and get a job at a local restaurant or at the mall or other places throughout the city, international students can't work outside of the campus. And so they are pretty much guaranteed a job on campus if they'd like to have a part-time job to make some additional money while they're at UW-La Crosse. Looking at our programs, these are the undergraduate programs, so the bachelor's degree programs. And there are about 100 different majors that students can pursue between both the majors that you see here and then the areas of concentration or emphasis within those programs. So looking at the list here, we have an AACSB accredited College of Business Administration, and you'll see a really robust full array of business programs there. We have a College of Arts, Social Sciences, and Humanities, and they have some of our really popular programs like Communication Studies, English, Psychology, and Sociology. They also have some of our more unique programs like Archaeological Studies and Public Administration. Our School of Visual and Performing Arts has the Art, Music, and Theater programs. The College of Science and Health is actually our largest college on campus. It has our largest major of biology, and then within biology, a lot of different areas of concentration. So everything from biomedical to environmental to cellular and molecular, just a lot of different areas within biology. It also has other popular majors like computer science, mathematics, physics, and statistics, but also some more unique health-related programs like clinical laboratory science, nuclear medicine technology, and others like that. We have a School of Education that has our teacher training programs for students who want to teach in the primary, middle, and secondary schools. And then in some areas where we have both an undergraduate and a master's degree in related fields, we've developed dual degree tracks where students can enter the university for their bachelor's degree, but be accepted for that full duration of study so they conclude their studies when they've been awarded a graduate degree as well. Then looking at the graduate programs, it's a smaller list, but a lot of really strong programs in science and technology areas. So looking at this list, you'll notice that most of the programs are Master of Science degrees. There are 2 doctoral programs, the Doctor of Physical Therapy and the Doctor of Education in Student Affairs Administration. Most of these programs are offered on campus, so they're in-person programs, but we do have a few graduate programs that are offered online, and those programs are cybersecurity, data science, information technology management, and healthcare administration. I've noted on here the programs that are the most popular among international students. So we see the most applications for students applying for applied statistics, biology, data science, microbiology, and software engineering. But each of the programs listed here accepts international students into their program. And so even if it's a program that I haven't highlighted, we still have international students who can apply for those programs. We do offer an ESL Institute, and this is really exciting for us because we were not able to offer the program for the past year due to COVID and just not being able to enroll enough students on campus. But it is getting a reboot for fall 2021, and we've taken this time to really revamp the curriculum, really make it more relevant for students. And so we are super excited to launch this program again for fall 2021. The program will have 3 levels of ESL, so everything from beginning through advanced. And the nice thing is that students will be assessed on each level of English proficiency. So for example, a student might be in the intermediate level for reading, but the advanced level for speaking. And so they can really take classes that will address where they are at with their language learning. It's going to be content-based learning. And so, the goal is to learn reading, writing, speaking, and listening. But if you're just focusing on the academic study, that can get kind of boring for students. And so we're working in different types of content. So they might be learning about reading, but doing that by learning about conservation and the environment. They might be learning about speaking, but doing it through learning about the oral history of the region of Wisconsin and the culture in the area. So really making it fun learning for them. It's an interactive program, and so while there will be a lot of classroom learning, they will also have conversation partners, opportunities to go into the community for volunteer experiences, and other types of experiences where they're taking what they're learning in the classroom and both being encouraged and honestly forced to use it to speak with others. So that really helps with the language learning. And we can offer them conditional admission to their degree program so that they begin in the ESL Institute, but then have that pathway to their degree.
Is this program offered for the graduate students or only for the undergrad?
We offer it for both undergrad and for graduate.
Okay. So it's not required to provide English certificates?
Not if they want to do the ESL Institute, exactly. So if they would prefer just to enter an ESL Institute and then do the conditional admission to a graduate program, they can do that instead. And so that's a really good option for those students. And for the graduate programs, we typically reach out to the graduate department and have them review the student for admission ahead of time, just to make sure that they will be given an offer of admission. For some of the programs that are more competitive, they won't do a pre-approval of admission because each year is a new competitive cohort, but we can have them at least confirm that the student is eligible to apply to the program then once they complete the ESL Institute. So yes, that's actually a great question. And then lastly, in terms of programming, we also offer a summer program, a summer academy. And this is for younger students that you might be working with. So if you have really good relationships with the middle and secondary schools in Jordan, this is an opportunity to bring some of those students between the ages of 12 and 17 to UW-La Crosse for a few weeks during the summer. This is really meant to be an introduction to US universities, immersing them in US culture, having some fun experiences with them, showing them some academic programs, some English language preparation. The hope of this program is that they get really excited about coming to the US for their education. And when they get a little bit older, they come back to your agency and say, oh my gosh, help me apply to a school in the US now. If it happens to be UW-La Crosse, that's awesome. But even if it's another university, if we can just help them get that excitement about coming to the US, that's really the goal of this program. Looking at the university experience, when they come to UW-La Crosse, we want them to live in dormitories for at least their first year. And then after that first year, they can decide to move off campus or stay on campus. We have 10 dormitories available for the students, and all of them are co-ed, shared living experiences where they have kind of all of the day-to-day features provided for them. Having said that, there are two dormitories that are especially popular among the international students. And so we work with our residence life office to specifically hold rooms for them in those dormitories. And then students can choose to apply for other ones if they want to. So the two that I'm going to highlight for you today are Eagle Hall and Reuter Hall. Eagle Hall is our suite style dormitory. It's our newest dormitory, so it actually looks the most modern and current. As you can see from the diagram here, there are two rooms. Each room has 3 students in it, so it's a community total of 6 students, and they share a common bathroom. So it's not quite an apartment, but it has kind of that feeling of just students living in community with that shared bathroom. It does mean, because they don't have a kitchen, that they still participate in a meal plan, but it gives them privacy, a little bit more space, and community. And that's where I think it makes it really popular for incoming freshman international students and transfer international students. Those tend to be the students that want to live in Eagle Hall. And these are some of the pictures of Eagle. You can see both what the rooms look like and then some of the other facilities throughout the building. The other dormitory is Reuter Hall, and this is an apartment building on campus. So students actually have their own bedroom, so a little bit more privacy. So 4 students live in the apartment, and then they share the living room, bathroom, and kitchen facilities. And so this is a really popular opportunity for transfer international students and graduate international students, as well as students who have a really strong desire to cook their own food rather than participate in a meal plan. Since they have their own kitchen, they can also then make their own food or store their own food, and that is really important to some students. And you can see here both pictures of what the apartments look like and then some of the other facilities throughout that dormitory. Students at UW-La Crosse can participate in a meal plan. It's called the Eagle Meal Plan, and it gives them primarily access to our cafeteria. So whenever the cafeteria is open, they can go in there and eat as often as they want, as much as they want. It offers them vegetarian options, vegan options, gluten-free, peanut-free, and a lot of other different types of preferences. Students can also talk to dining services if they have a certain preference, and dining services will try to provide those meals for those students. In addition to that unlimited entry to the cafeteria, they have what we would call meal swipes, so swiping their student ID card at other dining locations on campus. And they also have $115 each year of what we call maroon dollars. So that gives them the ability to go anywhere, and rather than using their meal plan, to use those dollars to purchase other things. So for example, there's a Starbucks on campus. Students on their way to class in the morning can grab a latte, swipe their card, and their latte is covered. And then lastly, they get 8 guest meals per month. So if a friend comes to visit them from another university, they can go to the cafeteria together or to one of the dining restaurants. They swipe their card and their friend's meal is covered as well. So they get to be a good host. We are going to support your students and get them involved in a variety of different ways. The International Education and Engagement Office will do cultural programming, advocacy, compliance for them with their immigration. And they're also just a place to hang out. They have games and open spaces, and really international students hang out there when they're just kind of in between their classes. The Academic Advising Center will work with students to select their major and minor areas of focus. They'll help them stay on track towards graduation with class selection and things like that. The Access Center will work with students who have diagnosed disabilities, so a learning disability, a physical disability, or other type, to make sure that they have accommodations to be successful. We will help your students get involved in over 200 student organizations, so everything from international student clubs to professional organizations to faith-based clubs to special interest clubs. They'll have that chance to connect with other students who share an interest and to also take on leadership opportunities within those organizations. For students who enjoy sport, we have intramurals, sports clubs, and we're an NCAA Division III athletic university. So everything from intramurals, where you get together with friends, you form a team, and you have a lot of fun competing against other students at the university, to sports clubs, where you are on a team and you compete against other teams in the region, to Division III athletics, where you're an intercollegiate athlete and you're competing against other NCAA Division III teams across the state and region. And then lastly, for students who want to be involved in the arts, there are plays, musicals, bands, choirs, orchestras, dance groups, all sorts of ways for them to get together and engage in performing arts. All of these things really lead towards that goal of preparing them for life after the university. So our career services office will help them develop their resume, practice their interviewing skills, hold different professional events to help them just kind of become more used to professional dinners, professional dress, professional etiquette. We have a database called Handshake that will give them a one-stop shop to look for internships and jobs in the area. We will host a lot of events on campus in our big ballroom, including graduate and professional school fairs, job fairs, internship fairs, really to give them exposure to meeting the different types of schools and business and industry that can give them opportunities after they graduate. We have a 98% placement rate for our graduates, and that means that the students are finding employment through the OPT work program. They are pursuing further education at graduate and doctoral programs. And so we really do see a lot of success for our international students when they graduate from UW-La Crosse. The last program that I'll talk about before we dive into more of the procedural things are the La Crosse Friends of International Students and the Global Buddies programs. So these are both programs where students and families welcome your students when they arrive and provide support throughout their time. The La Crosse Friends of International Students is a host friend friendship program. So we match the student with a local family, and that family invites them over for dinner, to do family activities, to spend holidays together. So they really become like an additional family member with that family. It is not a homestay program, and so the students don't actually live with the family, but they do develop really, really close relationships. Most of these relationships extend beyond graduation, and years and years later, these families are still in touch with their students. We also have the Global Buddies program, which matches the international student with a La Crosse American student, and it creates an opportunity for them to share their cultures and their interests. The American student usually also already has friends on campus, and so they can introduce the student to their friends. So both of these programs help the students, especially when they arrive and they're homesick and they're lonely and everything looks so different and they're just trying to get connected. It really starts to help them feel more comfortable and to start to develop these social networks in La Crosse. Okay, moving over to admission. Looking at undergraduate admission, we have two intakes, the fall September intake and the spring January intake. Students apply using the state of Wisconsin application, which is apply.wisconsin.edu. They pay a small application fee. We ask that they send us their secondary school records. If they have graduated from their secondary school program, we also want a copy of their general secondary education certificate. If they have attended university or college and would be a transfer student, we want a copy of those records. And then we want evidence of English proficiency. So that can be a TOEFL of a 73, an IELTS of a 6.0, or a Duolingo English test of 100. So once they've submitted these documents, the application, the fee, the academic records, and English proficiency, at that point, we can make an admission decision. So we can let them know that they've been offered admission. If their English scores are a little bit lower, we can let them know they've gotten an offer of conditional admission based on enrollment in the ESL Institute. And so at that point, they can decide if they want to attend UW-La Crosse. They can also apply for scholarships at that point. So for a lot of students, they will pause at that point and make their decision. In order to issue their immigration documents, we then have them provide evidence of funding for 1 year at the university, as well as a copy of their passport. Those are needed to issue the I-20 immigration document. So some students will submit everything all at once. They just want to submit it all and be done. Some will get the admission decision first and then submit the immigration documents. The SAT is not required, and so it's not needed for admission or for scholarships. So a student can submit a score if they've taken it, but it is not required. A typical student that we will admit has a GPA of a 2.5 on a 4-point scale, which is about a grade BC average. Looking at Jordan, that would typically be about a 70% or better for students. Looking at graduate admission, very similar. Those two intakes, the fall and the spring intake. For some of the health-related programs like occupational therapy, physical therapy, and physician assistant, they have a summer intake. And so for those programs, students are able to begin in the summer. We can issue their immigration documents for a summer start. Similarly, they do the application, they pay the application fee, they send their academic records and their evidence of English proficiency. And at that point, we can forward their application to the graduate department for their review. So they can find out if they've been admitted, if they've been awarded a graduate assistantship or a non-resident tuition remission. And then they can follow up with their proof of funding and their passport copy so that we can issue their immigration documents. We do not require the GRE or the GMAT for most of our programs. So again, not looking as much at tests when making the admission decision. The GRE is required for those 3 special health-related programs: physical therapy, occupational therapy, and physician assistant. And then each of the programs will have something additional they require, whether it's a letter of recommendation, a personal statement, a copy of their resume. For those, you can find information ahead of time or contact me. Information is available on each program website. But when we get the student application, I will also send them a personalized email that tells them what additional items are required and gives a link to their dashboard to upload those. Most of the graduate programs will admit students with a GPA of a 3.0, about a B average, or again, about a 70% from a student from Jordan. Looking at the cost for 1 year of study, you see it broken down here by the undergraduate, graduate, and ESL programs. And the main number that changes is the tuition fees. So about $18,500 for undergraduate, $20,600 for graduate, and $11,300 for ESL. So that's for the 9-month fall and spring semester program. For housing, for budget purposes, we look at the suite style dormitory for undergraduate and ESL, and then the apartment for graduate. Students can still select whichever dormitory they want. The meal plan is the Eagle meal plan that I mentioned. The health insurance is the state of Wisconsin health insurance plan. So you can see the total there for 1 year of study would be about $27,700 for undergraduate, $31,200 for graduate, and $20,500 for ESL. For the I-20 purposes, we also add a little bit of money for personal expenses. I always assure the students, we are not going to be charging you those fees. That is your entertainment, school supplies, travel, clothing, all of those outside things that we just want to make sure that we've noted on your immigration documents you've got the funding for. So that's the cost to attend, but there is also good financial assistance available for students. So for the undergraduate students, they can apply for our Vice Chancellor Scholarship for new international students after they've been accepted. That scholarship requires a GPA of a 3.0 or that equivalent based on their system. And that scholarship is worth a range of $2,000 to $5,000 per year and is automatically renewable. Once they arrive at the university, they can apply for the iEngage scholarship. So for example, if a student started in fall 2021, they could have the Vice Chancellor Scholarship that stays with them their whole time. But then during fall, they could apply for the iEngage scholarship, and that would start being awarded in spring of 2022. That scholarship is based on their GPA and also on participation in cultural activities. That award can be up to $2,000 per semester, and students can continue to apply for it each semester. So they could receive as much as $4,000 per year through iEngage. Those scholarships can be stacked, so they can have Vice Chancellor and iEngage, so receiving some good financial assistance there. And then they can also apply for UW-La Crosse Foundation scholarships. Within that kind of database of scholarships, there are a lot of academic scholarships, so based on their major. They can also apply for additional international scholarships and other ones based on different characteristics like leadership, service, and other things like that. So that's the undergraduate level. At the graduate level, they can be considered for a graduate assistantship. So typically to apply for a graduate assistantship, they submit their assistantship application by March 1st and then are reviewed for graduate assistantships. If they're given one, they're given a salary to work 15 to 20 hours per week, typically in an office that's connected to their area of study. They can also be considered for a non-resident tuition waiver. That would bring their tuition fees from the out-of-state international rate to the local in-state rate. So it reduces their tuition by approximately 50%. They are also eligible to apply for the iEngage scholarship. So again, up to $2,000 per semester, and for the UW-La Crosse Foundation scholarships. So at both the undergraduate and the graduate level, they have numerous opportunities to find financial assistance at UW-La Crosse. They will have some things that are free for them as well. That includes membership to our fitness center on campus. It includes movies. We have a movie theater on campus, so free movies every weekend, free admission to our athletic events, and so they can go to football games and a lot of other sporting events. They can ride the city buses in La Crosse free of charge, so they show their ID card and then the buses pick them up and take them throughout the city. And there will be a lot of other opportunities to attend free events on campus while they are students. I always encourage our agency partners and our students to follow us on whatever social media platforms you like the most. You can see here that we've got stuff out on a lot of the different social media platforms. The one that I do want to highlight is our UW-La Crosse Student Ambassadors. So we partner with Unibuddy as a platform, and some of our current international students have profiles set up. So on the screen here, you can see Tasia, who is a biology major from India. And so if you were to go to the Student Ambassador site, you can see her profile and others. You can see blogs that they've posted, photos, videos. You can learn more about what their interests are, both academically and socially. And then if you click on Chat with Tasia, you can communicate through texting, through WhatsApp and other means, and ask questions about what their student experience is like. So it gives the students a really good chance to get a student perspective, in addition to the really good information you provide as an agency and we provide as admissions counselors. Our commitment to you as our agency partners is training as often as you want it, but definitely annually, just so we can make sure we're giving you updates. Making sure that you have the materials that you need to recruit students for us. So we will actually create a Google Drive folder for your agency and put the PowerPoint in there and this recording and other copies of recruitment materials. And we'll continue to add things as we get more things that would be helpful for you. However, for any offices that are open, if you'd like us to mail you a package so you have pennants and hard copies of materials and some additional things, we're happy to put those together for you and mail them. If there's anything we can provide for you specific to recruiting in Jordan, whether it's a student profile, information about certain majors that are really popular or things like that, let us know. We're happy to do things that help you specifically with your recruitment in Jordan. We hope to visit your office sometime when travel is more allowed. And so it may be Kelsey who visits your office, but if I have a chance to travel there, I would love to meet you as well. My commitment to you is fast responses to inquiries. So I always make sure that you have my WhatsApp number and that you feel confident contacting me anytime you have a question. And then we're open to hearing what else we can do to support you. If there's something we're not doing that would help you, please let us know. So I want to say thank you so much for listening to this agency training. I hope that when it began, you knew nothing about UW-La Crosse, and now you feel so full of information and hopefully excited to share this with students and their families. My WhatsApp number is here, and I'll make sure to send it in an email as well, but you are welcome anytime you want to contact me, especially with the time difference. Send me a message when it's convenient for you, and I will make sure that I'm then getting back to you as absolutely early as I can. So,
Heather, that was amazing. You kept it interesting, and so that was very good. I didn't know that much about the university. So as you said, I already know a lot of things about it right now. I even took some notes just to make sure that I'm going to discuss them with my son, and I shared my WhatsApp number and.
perfect.
And here is Maisa's email, just in case. Maisa with 1A, right?
Yeah.
Write 2 A's and she get mad at me. Perfect. Maisa, please copy paste Heather's email and keep it with you. And I also have it. If we are going to keep in touch with you, Heather, and thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and I think you have lots of good selling points that we can easily promote to Jordan, especially with the requirements that no SAT is required. The GMAT and GREs are not required for only like certain programs, and the tuition fees are actually good, and the opportunities, the scholarships opportunities it's amazing. So I think this is great.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. And I truly am here for you if you need anything. And so let me know if you want me to mail you materials. Like I said, since we recorded this session, I'll send you a copy of the recording and the PowerPoint and all of that. And yeah, just let me know what I can do to support you guys.
Thank you so much.
I love working with our agency partners. I kind of feel like I've gotten closer with our partners during COVID because like we've all gotten so much more used to being on video. So I've been doing regular meetings with our agency partners and just, you know, showing them the PowerPoint and catching up with them and seeing how they're doing. So I'm really looking forward to this relationship.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys have a wonderful day and we'll be in touch.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.